The reason we're out here this weekend is wanted to, see some of the Indigenous communities, see some of the great work that's happening at Stuart Creek Station, and the mentorship sort of role that that the manager here has taken on with some of the young Indigenous people.
Stuart Creek means a lot to me. As a child, I grew up out here. When I was 14, I came here to work, 1988. And it's just always been like a home to me. To look after and care this land. And looking back there now and being able to be a manager here for the last 6 years has been the greatest thing in my life. My kids are growing up out here now and doing the things that I'd done and what I was taught on this land. It means the world to me, to be honest with you. I took over the manager's job here. Ken put me in that position. We had 300 head. We were in a dry time. Pretty hard it was for everybody, not only us. It was pretty hard. And I sort of carried them 300 head with the experience and what I was taught over my days from the other people that I've worked for. It was hard because, we were trying to help other people around and assisting stations next doors and that with adjustment here and there to keep them going because it was a pretty hard time. I drove these cattle around this place for over 18 months from place to place, just chasing little storms and just chasing little bits of water here and there and bits of better feed.
I've been involved with Dion and the boys now for a few years. When he came, there was 300 odd cattle. And now there's 1,200 odd cattle. So as far as a stockman goes, Dion and his lads are very good. They're highly regarded in the whole pastoral industry. There's not a lot of blokes with his ability that can train others, but he just seems to have a natural ability to do it. And so, I'd rate Dion. He's probably one of the best stockmen and one of the best pastoral blokes that I've seen.
Waylon started with me probably 4 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago. He was the first bloke I ever employed. He was in a bit of strife and stuff, and I always like to help people, younger people. I spoke to Ken about him and we can help him out, and that was 4 years ago, and the man's never looked back. He's a smart man, he goes and does the work himself now.
You get that chance, and like being out here with cattle or any jobs that we got to go and do through the days, and that just makes you feel good because the boss is giving you that trust and putting that responsibility on you, and makes you feel good when you do a good job.
And then we got Donald. Donald's a bit younger. Donald's only 19. Just needed that guidance, respect and trust, eh? And that's the answer. That is the thing about Outback, No one better than anybody else. We all eat out of the same tucker box out here, as my old boss reckons.
It'd be good to get and see a lot of other younger people come out and experience the life that we learnt and lived, living out here, doing it. It'll help them as well. They're not getting into trouble or any of that stuff, walking the streets or anything.
This is their land too. They're Arabunna boys. And it's a bonus having old Lance here, our old uncle. He speaks all the languages. He teaches us that language, all that knowledge that he's passing down through to us now. That's what it's all about, learning it all out here.
Get out there and have a go, and because I reckon once they get out and try it out and get used to it out here, and that they won't want to go back to the city or anything, just the different lifestyle and how we live out here, and no dramas or anything.
It's probably a bit I was too young, but Dick Nunn managed down the creek, an old bloke by the name of Dick Nunn for 30, 40 years, you know. He was a king to us out here. And he took in kids from the streets and that no one wanted, and they had no homes and none of this and none of that. And he took them down the creek and made them into men, you know, the respectable men. A lot of the kids, you know, they don't have no one to follow. You know, and you need to get them out of that area and out here. And there's a connection to all people, you know, that are lost. There's always something out here that they'll connect to. We don't own the land. The land owns us. We just here to work it and make a living off it. And with the mining companies is a great thing. And that's why with these cattle and this parcel and this bit with Stuart Creek, we've got no other people going out, young ones from this area onto other cattle stations. No one's got any time to teach them no more. You know, you might get 5 out here, 3 might want to go into mining. Well, that's what it's all about. And giving them a chance.
You do get a lot of people that think, oh yeah, your job's easy and this and that, but until you actually come out and do the job, you'll find out.
Yeah.
Because like sort of we don't work on a time or whatever. It's just sort of sun up till sundown, you know.
It's a big team effort, and it is a lot of work with cattle. It doesn't matter if you've got 5 cattle or 5,000, you still got to water that 5 head. You still got to maintain and look after that 5 head. So, you know, yeah, it is a good thing, and these cattle are in pretty good order, and we're in a pretty good, you know, it is pretty dry. We haven't had no rain for a while, no decent rains, and you know, a lot of the people are sending store cattle off, you know. We're going to be able to truck, you know, fats in the next week, you know, and good fats.
We've been planning over the last 4 to 5 months to put a group of cattle together for sale, pretty much. We've just been watching the weights of the cattle and the condition of the cattle, the condition of the feed on the property and the waters. And as the countryside cools down, well, it's the best time to muster, purely because of the heat and you know, the toll that it takes on the animals, and particularly doing jobs like this that you see in here, because it's pretty stressing on animals. The cattle business in pastoral properties is a long-term job. Dion's only been here 6 years. He started off with a mob of cattle, and you just call them bits of this and bits of that. All breeds, all ages, all types. And so it's taken him now 6 years to build the numbers up. And this is the start of it, you know, in the next week or two, today and the next week or two, to start putting together a line of cattle, one particular line, one breed, of good quality cattle. So he's had a hard job in the last few years because he's started from scratch. And this is now what we're doing now. We're going to have a good cull and try to get a good line of cattle together. There's sort of 3 main breeds up here. There's the Herefords, the Angus cattle, and then there's the Santa cattle. Dion prefers a Santa cow. He likes to put a Charolais bull over them, which produces a big boned animal capable of walking long distance because they got to, and if you have a look around at the countryside, the stones get into their feet. So Santa cattle are good for resisting the heat. They're big boned cattle, they can walk, and that's what you need up here, you know, and that's his preference, to go for that type of line, and that's what we'll be trying to do, put together in the next couple of years.
I reckon it's a great opportunity for them in themselves, and that BHP have given Dion and Duck and other fellas an opportunity to make something of a bit of land, and they've taken that bull by the horns pretty much, and they've started off. They've got Princess Royal up there to have a look at the cattle, give them an oversight on the job, and yeah, they were willing to sort of learn more about the whole job and how it works. Had a bit of time with the lads there and sort of showed them what to do and how to draft the cattle into different lines, and this was just the start of something that I think will become bigger and better for them.
Station country, and particularly Stuart Creek, are very good at breeding and breeding numbers, and they come down here in the ideal store condition, or we call store condition. They're not fat, they're not overcooked, and then we can put them through a grain feeding program. The cattle generally straight off the station the meat would be quite dark and tends to probably be a little bit on the tough side. And by giving it a program of grain, white grains, and like barley and wheat and silage and whatever, it'll change the colour of the meat and make it more tender and make it nice and juicy for the consumer.
What do you like about the job?
Just the lifestyle, I reckon. It can be laid back at times, but now when we got busy with cattle work and that, just pretty much flat out. But yeah, just the lifestyle and being out in the bush.
Anything you don't like about the job?
Flies.
Yeah, the flies.
We see the Indigenous fellas in our district that we deal with from Port Augusta to Ceduna, and there's all types, there's the goods and the bads, but the majority of them, all they want to do is learn, be given the right direction, and guys like this, it's a long-term job, you just don't turn someone overnight, and you got to have the right people to do it.
There are big, opportunities for training out here. This has been one of the best classrooms because you've got everything in this one area, You'll have your operating skills, you'll have your stock handling skills, you'll have your self-motivation is your biggest thing out here. And the best thing about it, you've got no mobile phones, no disruptions, it's just full on. It is the best to be learnt and taught on the land. I've worked with Ken for a few years now, and a lot of work, on weekends when we do get a day off, and it's work, it's not a day off, it was all new to me. And the push that Ken has, that he can push into you, and the push that he gives me, it'll be a dream to come true to see the training out here. It's nearly set up. It's just a matter of jumping a couple of more fences and a couple of other little things, and it can happen, And surely in the highs of Australia, they're not just going to look at our country and look at the company, mining company, they're a mining company. Look, we're pastoral, we're arid recovery, we're training, and we are a mining company. Now there.